Hey, book besties. Thanks for picking up our FaceTime. I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Lexi. And today we kind of just have like a little casual get together. You're joining our FaceTime call, and we're here to chat about book events and signings. And I'm pretty excited because you just recently went to quite a few things, right? Like you went like on like a little crawl.
Well, yes. We are debriefing with each other and we want you to join in on the convo. So, Lexi recently went to ApollyCon. I was so excited for you. And I recently went to see Sadie Kincaid. I saw Megan Quinn yesterday, or no, 2 days ago? 2 days ago. And also, in between the time that we've been filming this episode, Indie Bookstore Day happened. So I did hit up a bunch of indie bookstores that I want to tell you all about. Um, so yeah, Lexi, why don't you start by telling us what you're drinking? What do you have in your hand? Because I think that everyone should grab a nice little drink, and then we should just, continue with the debrief.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Um, so I'm actually having a Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar, the cherry flavor. And to me, it just tastes like Dr. Pepper extra. Like, it's just so good. I have an entire mini fridge full of every single flavor of Dr. Pepper. It's actually disgusting. I'll insert a picture here. Like, it's really bad. What are you drinking? Because it looks super cute.
I am drinking just a regular nice crispy Coke. My favorite though is a Cherry Coke Zero. I'm a Cherry Coke
Ooh.
Zero girly, but Walgreens did not have that available today. So a
Ugh.
regular Coke it is.
Do you have a Publix near you?
We don't have Publix in Illinois. We have Jewel and like Mariano's, which is basically like Kroger, but we don't have Publix.
That thing, because we have them in Florida, and
Mm.
they do like a buy one get one free like every week of like
Oh.
everything, like not everything in the store, but like multiple aisles worth of stuff. And the big one they always do is the soda. So like I'll buy myself a 12 pack, myself another 12 pack, and then I'll get the hubby like a couple things. But anyways, it's fine to stay in Illinois. Um, Okay, I don't even like know where to dive in because there's so much. So first, tell me about Sadie Kincaid because she didn't go to a Polycon this year. She dropped out, so I didn't get to see her.
Yes. So she did go on tour with HarperCollins because, as you guys know, she recently published The Auction, which is
Mm-hmm.
traditionally published, and HarperCollins made her go on tour. So, she is not stopping in Chicago when I saw the like tour dates, but she did end up stopping in St. Louis, which is 5 hours away from where I currently live in Illinois. So I was scrolling through, and I saw that they were, selling the tickets to St. Louis. They sold out so quickly that I was like, oh, damn, well, okay. But then I saw like that, going to a lot of book events, I know that sometimes when they sell out super quick, they will look for a bigger venue
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the times the bookstores will want to do it at the bookstore, but maybe they didn't realize like how much demand there would be. So that's actually what ended up happening with the Kincaid event at the St. Louis stop. The tickets sold out so quickly that they found a bigger venue and they sold more tickets. So I was doom scrolling at like 3 a.m. and I saw that they had like added more tickets and I hit purchase immediately and I was like, Myra, it's 2 in the morning. Call me when you see this.
Did you like just buy her ticket too, so she
Yeah,
didn't miss out?
I
Yeah,
just hit purchase on 2 tickets because I was like, I don't want it to like go sold out again and
yeah.
then we don't get our tickets. So yeah, it was like 3 in the morning and I was like, call me when you see this, I don't care what time it is. And she calls me at 7 when she gets up for work and she's like, what? And I'm like, did you see what I got? And she's like, I don't, what is this? And I was like, read it. And again, she had just woken up, so she's like, oh my God. She's like, are we gonna go see Sadie Kincaid? And I was like, yes, we are gonna go see Sadie Kincaid. So it just so happened that it was on a Friday, which worked out great. So we drove our little butts over to St. Louis. We checked into the hotel, and then we made our way to the event. And initially, when we saw that the event was going on and we got the email confirmation for the tickets, the bookstore said, like, you can bring your books from home for her to sign. But I don't think that they had updated it, like, for what, after they expanded the event
Yeah.
because there was no signing limit when they initially sent the confirmation email. And so I, being me, brought all of my books with me that didn't have a Sadie Kincaid signature. So I had a lot of books with me. So I took my little book cart. And if you have follow me on Instagram, you know my little book cart that I take to book events and stuff. It was full. It was full of my Sadie Kincaid books. And so when we got to the venue, like we were looking for it, we couldn't find it. And we asked these girls who had like book totes, and I was like, they have book totes. I think they're going. And I was like, are you guys here for the Sadie event? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, we can't find it. And we like started chatting, and she's like, oh yeah, like I brought like a couple of books, but my friend is gonna help me get like another one signed. And I was like, hmm? She's like, yeah, because you know they said like a three book signing limit. And I was like, excuse me. So my little heart was shattered, but I mean, obviously, it's understandable because they expanded the event to like it was probably over 130 people that were there at the
Oh my
St.
God.
Louis stop. It was a pretty big event, and so I was like, I mean, it's understandable. But so I confirmed with the person like that checked us in and gave us our copy of the book, and she's like, yeah, you can get 3 books signed, and like as she was handing us like the copy of the auction, that one was already signed, so she's like, this one
Oh,
doesn't
good.
count. So it was just like 3 fresh books or whatever. And then she had like some of her backlog or her backlist of books. They were selling it at a table at the event as well. But if you know me, you know I have all of her books basically. So I was like,
Literally.
yeah. So I was like, they don't have the ones that I really wanted to get signed. Because if they had the indie versions of the Forged in Blood, Promised in Blood, Bound in Blood, I would have just picked those 3 up. But they didn't have them. So anyway, I didn't end up buying any books. I just had to make some very hard decisions. And I ended up getting the indie version of Dante, because as you guys know, it's traditionally published now. So I got the indie version of Dante. I got, I have to remember. I don't know. I was almost in tears when I like went back to the car to like get my book because I left my book cart there. But yeah, I had to make some hard decisions. But the other thing too is that Greyson Ownens, who is the narrator for the male main character in a lot of her books, and also he was narrating the male main character in the auction. He was there at the event with her for the
Oh my God.
discussion. And so you also have to take books for him to sign. So I did bring some Rena Kent books as well because he does narrate Rena Kent books. And so but again, it was a 3 book signing limit. So I had like all of these books in my cart and I had to make some choices. But yeah, I will put a picture of like the books that I actually ended up getting signed by them here. But if you guys have heard the audiobook for The Perfect Fit, then you know that Greyson Ownens plays Xander, who is the one who gives the female main character the nickname of Shorty. And I know a lot of people don't like that nickname, but me being vertically challenged, I really like that nickname. So I was like, so my friend had like she was like, I'm gonna ask him to write Shorty on it. And I was like, I don't know if there's any way because like they were literally taking our books and like obviously they were trying to like hurry the line along, right?
Yeah.
So they were like taking our books and like I get it, but at the same time I'm like, you get like no time, obviously. And so my friend, like, she didn't get a picture with him because he wasn't in the picture. So she went back up to him and she was like, hey, like, is it okay if we get a picture? Because you weren't in my picture when they took it. And he's like, oh, okay, like, no problem. Super, super kind, super sweet. And then she was like, and also she's like, do you think that you can, write Shorty in my book because I just really love that nickname. And then she was like looking at me and she was like, actually, you know, my friend, she's the one that like put me onto all these books. And I was like, yeah, that's not fair that you get Shorty in yours and I don't get it in mine. She's like,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
She's like, yeah. Like my friend, she's like, she's right there. I love my friend Myra because she's always like my friend, and she's always like, she's right there, my bestie, that girl. She's the one that put me onto all of these books. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh my God, so I'm over here like, and I was like, wait, that's not fair. Like, if you get Shorty in yours, I want to have Shorty in mine. So he ended up like writing Shorty in both of our copies of The Perfect Fit, which was just like so funny to me. So yeah, shout out to Greyson Ownens for writing Shorty in our copy of The Perfect Fit because I fucking love that nickname. But anyway, but the Queen Sadie, the conversation was so funny, and I really love her because she's so real when she's like, you know, I try to make it a slow burn, but you guys know me, they're banging by like 15%, and I was like, And we love
Sometimes
that.
you need that.
Don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. But yeah, just like listening to her like talk about like her writing process, and like I had known, because I've been following her for a while, I had known that she was basically like the equivalent to what is a parole officer in the US. And she actually was writing like kind of like thriller-esque books for HarperCollins in the UK way back when. And
Oh,
so she's used like that experience as like a parole officer, like in her writing and stuff. And you can kind of tell, like, I mean, and she said, like, obviously they weren't like the people that I was like talking to and dealing with was like not Dante Moretti. Like, they weren't these type of
oh
mafia
yeah.
men. She's like, but you got the info and like things start flowing. And I don't know. I just thought it was like so interesting. Like, because a lot of these authors too, like they have like these big boy, big girl corporate jobs. Like you hear like a lot of them are like lawyers, like a lot of authors used to be lawyers, like
Doctors.
doctors, like, Frida McFadden, her pen name or whatever. She's like a
Allie Hazelwood.
well-renowned surgeon. Allie Hazel was a woman in STEM. Brittany Nicole also used to be an attorney. I don't know. It's just fascinating to me. So I really enjoyed like the conversation that they had, and like hearing her process, and obviously like now that she's traditionally published and like what that's like. And like I always feel like such a proud, like, just I'm so proud, or secondhand, like, oh my God, we did it type of thing, right? Because she's published so many books, and I really like, I'm a big fan of her books, and like to see that HarperCollins was like, okay, we're gonna traditionally publish you, like now we want like all of these books. I'm like, yes, girl, you go. So
Yes, like you can
yes,
be a romance, spicy author, whatever, and also be really freaking smart. And honestly, even if you don't have a degree, that doesn't negate it. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel
yeah,
like it's been super empowering to see these women succeed in all aspects of life. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's really inspiring. You can get all like
yeah.
guessy about it.
No, 100%. Like to me, whenever I go to an author event, like that's what I want to know. Like, how did you get started? Like, what was it like bringing your experiences from where you were starting to write, and like what it is like now? And I feel like a lot of them kind of like say similar things, or at least like, I've heard from a few authors when I go to these author events that like they look at their books as like stepping stones, or like where they were in their lives when they like wrote those books and published those books. And I just think that that's so fascinating too, because, again, like they're women from all walks of life, and like there's such a demand for romance. And like where this person was in their life and they wrote this book resonated with like so many people. You know what I mean? Like, so that, I don't know, it's just like a feeling of like warm and fuzzy, because it's just like the best part of the book community, in my opinion. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's what I love about, like, and lifting others up, and obviously you're consuming this art, and like to them it's like, this is where I was in my life when I wrote this. And obviously I love Sadie Kincaid's books, so like anything she writes I will read. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We did get a chance to explore St. Louis. So like after the event, we spent the day like in St. Louis, and we went to the bookstore that put the event on. We did some more damage with books there. And it was actually so funny because the I ended up picking up a mafia romance by Kath Richards. I'll put it right here, but it was basically the thing that caught my eye with this mafia romance is that she's the mafia boss, and he's like a teacher who's like reluctant to be with her because he's like, I don't want anything to do with you. But it was just so funny. And then I ended up picking up a pack for Spring by Amelia
Oh,
Emerson.
shocker.
And if you guys know, I love Amelia Emerson. She is probably so sick of me tagging her and everything. Like, okay, girl, we get it. But
But
you
she's
guys know
amazing.
I love Amelia Emerson, Amelia Rossi. So I ended up picking up that a pack for Spring, which is book 3 in the Cozy Verse. It is Omegaverse. So if you don't like Omegaverse, go fight with a wall. So I picked up that one, and then I picked up Blood and Roses by Karen Hart, which that book was following me everywhere. It is
Callie Hart?
Callie Hart. Callie Hart. It's so pretty, and I was like, the straight edges, and then it's mafia, so I was like, this is
I
right
have
up
that
my alley.
too. We need to read it and review it for our next episode.
Episode,
I
yes.
love Callie Hart. She's amazing. Like, really good writer.
Don't yell at me about not reading Quicksilver yet.
I'm gonna. Anyways.
Okay. But yeah, so when I took the books up to the register, the sweet cashier was like, there are 2 wolves inside of you, huh? I'm like, you know what? Yes. You know
We
what?
love her.
Yes. Because, I love that my book taste is so like noticeable, then that you can like just at a glance you're like you're gonna like this book.
Oh,
Because yeah,
literally.
I have a type. I have, Mafia, Omegaverse, but yeah. So that was that. I took a lot of fun pictures. There's a really cute post on my Instagram if you guys want to see it. I have yet to edit my like little mini vlog for it that I want to post on my Instagram because, just editing is just sometimes I'm like, but but that's my own
Real.
personal problem. But yeah, so that was really fun. And if you guys were at the St. Louis stop, let me know. Maybe we ran into each other and we didn't even know. But I'm hopeful that she will come to Chicago for the second book in that series because if you guys didn't know, the auction is part of a duet and it does end on a cliffhanger. So you have to wait until November for the second part of that story. So I'm hopeful that she's going to go on book tour again and that she will come to Chicago. And if she does, you will see a girl there because I need 3 more books signed. Like, literally, my friend was like, I was like almost in tears, and she was like, no, 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 it's okay. Like, this just means that we're going to go see her again and she's going to just sign more books for us. And I was like,
Exactly.
okay, you know what? You're right. You're right. You're right. So that was that. But enough of Sadie Kincaid and St. Louis. I want to know all about how many times you cried at ApollyCon meeting your favorite authors because just like Sadie Kincaid was a bucket list author for me, like this is an author who I never thought I would meet. I know that you had bucket list authors that you met at ApollyCon.
I know. Okay, so, I mean, everyone knows that Rebecca Yarros went to ApollyCon, and whew, I'm telling you what, it was a whole shebang. So, I'll just give like a brief overview. You had to get wristbands to see the big four authors. So it was like Rebecca Yarros, Brynne Weaver, J.R. Ward, and Jayla, Jennifer Armentrout.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah. Unfortunately, you got this at check-in, and it turned out that there was not enough wristbands for everybody. Not that they ever said that there would be, because you have over, like, I want to say it was almost 1,000 or more people.
Oh,
And
damn.
the expectation is that you're going to ApollyCon to see all these different authors, and not everyone wants to see the big four. So there was a pretty big uproar on social media about it, and it was kind of like a little bit negative. But
Oh.
that's all I'm going to say on that because I just think a lot of people beat a dead horse. And either way, the authors worked so hard in overtime that everyone got their book signed without the wristbands. That's all I'm going to say.
So it all worked out.
Yeah, it worked out for me though anyway because I am lucky and that is my manifestation and it has worked out perfectly for me this year. I got a Rebecca Yarros wristband and I actually was one of the first 30 people to see her.
Oh my
So it was,
God.
yeah, it was like, I mean, all the people that I got to see, I was the first person in line because it just worked out that way. I'm telling you, manifesting works, okay? Like, luck follows me everywhere and I deserve all the good things. So I really went into ApollyCon with a very, like, grateful and positive mindset, and I think that shaped the way that I saw the event. I think if you go in there just, like, maybe entitled a little bit, or, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Anyways,
Attitude is everything. I 100% agree with you.
yeah, and, so I actually packed for ApollyCon the night before. Just kidding. I didn't pack the night before. I packed the morning of our plane ride,
Oh
an
my God.
hour before,
Oh my God.
because I was just like very nervous and I was like, oh, I gotta like bring all these books for people to sign. Well, there's something I noticed that like I had a lot of special editions by these authors that were already signed. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay. And then I had to be careful because I knew I was picking up a lot of books and I didn't want to have to like bring them on the plane and then pay, and then ship them back. So I actually made a really hard decision. I only brought 2 Rebecca Yarros books. I know.
Whoa. Hold on, everybody. What?
And they
I'm
weren't even the
actually
Fourth Wing
shocked.
series.
Shut the hell up. Wait, hold on. Can I guess which one it was? I
Yeah,
think I know I think I know one that is definitely on the list. Did you take Variation?
I
I
did.
knew it. I knew it.
It's
I
amazing.
knew you took Variation.
It's so good. And then I brought In the Likely Event.
Okay.
Um,
That's the
so
one that like makes everyone cry within like 3 chapters, right?
no, that's the last letter.
Oh,
But
you're
In the Likely Event made me ugly cry so bad at the end. And it wasn't
Oh.
like like, it's not really a spoiler, but it's not like a sad, like, devastating, not happily ever after ending. It's just like there was a huge thing that happened throughout the book that you didn't notice until the end if you weren't careful.
Oh, okay, okay.
So that happened, and that was like, so those two books made a huge difference on me. And the thing that I love about Rebecca Yarros' writing is that she literally writes pieces of herself in her book. And Variation, I think, is the closest I've ever felt to knowing her, because it
Oh.
talks a lot about the battle of social media and expectations. And I mean, she's gone through it with social media, especially with being a very popular author.
Yeah.
But either way, I saw her the second day of signing because I was Ascended, which is mid-tier, and I got like super dressed up. I was seeing her in the afternoon and like the second part of the signing day. And I get in line, and first of all, the volunteers of ApollyCon were amazing. I mean, it ran so smoothly. I'm ADA, and I won't specify why, but I, need to sit often, and I have to have a fan on me, and I get really overheated. At one point, I got overheated in a line, and I was swarmed by volunteers guiding me to a chair, taking my books from my hand, bringing them to an author for me to get them signed, and then bringing the author to me for pictures.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and like, if I, told them in line, like, hey, like, I'm ADA, can you let me know? And they're like, oh, just go. Everyone was so nice. But anyways, I got in Rebecca Yarros' line. Her, like, best friend in the world, Rachel, was there, who is very open about, like, advocating for authors and, like, the spaces and boundaries. And I was, like, a huge fan of her. It's like, I follow her on Threads, and I just think she's so great. She's so sweet. She was in that line like a freaking knight. Like, I mean, she was telling people, she's like, go, like, air, like, things. She was getting books, like, ready. Like, you have to follow her on Threads because, like, she takes no shit.
Nice.
Especially when it comes to Rebecca, and especially when it comes to anybody that she thinks is being disrespected. So,
Oh,
I
okay.
actually gave her one of my trade bags. And I was like, I'm a big fan of you. A big fan of Rebecca, but love you too. And she was, like, so sweet. And then, so I'm in the line for Rebecca. My husband's behind me. And I turned to him and I was like, I think I might cry. And he's like, don't cry. And I'm sitting there and I'm
It's
like,
like pull it together.
yeah. He's like, don't cry, babe. And like the tears are welling up. Like, cause I can't, like, I'm so emotional at this point. And I get up to her and I'm just like, bawling. Like, it just starts. And then I was like, I just want to let you know that I love you so much, and your book's being like just work. And I told her, like, well, actually, I think like some of the words that I had with her were like really private, but like a big general thing that I said was, hey, like, anytime I'm going through surgery or when my husband was leaving for these deployments back to back, I would read your books. And actually, one of my pre-surgery rituals was to listen to the audiobook of Fourth Wing when Taryn says, I know exactly who and what you are, Violet Sorengale, and quit falling off, you're embarrassing us, because it always got me hyped before surgery because I was so scared. So, like, I told her that, and I told her how much, like, Variation meant to me and in the likely event, and, a lot of people don't know, but Rebecca actually penned a letter to the United States military basically saying, fuck you and your chicken strips, when they tried to ask her husband to re-enlist, because he went to war several times and was gravely injured.
Oh my
And
goodness.
she basically said, how dare you ask these men to give up everything, like when you won't even do it. And that meant so much to me as a military spouse. Sorry, I'm like bouncing all over here. So anyways, I was crying so much that like I couldn't get it together. And she was
Oh
like, I like looked at her, I was like, I'm so sorry, I know you're so busy, and I kept saying it, and she like turned to me and she was like, we're gonna take a second, like, it's okay, like,
no.
you want to take a minute, like, we're not gonna rush you. And that made me cry harder.
I know it's like when you're like on the verge of tears and someone's nice to you, you're like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah. Eventually, like, we got together. She signed my book. She gave me like a quick hug, and then I moved out of the line. I wanted to sit there and talk to her all day, obviously, but
Yeah.
like, I mean, I was respectful about other people, and I actually brought another girl's book with me to sign. She was in line, and she was over the limit. I
Oh.
was like, "Oh, give it to me. I only have two. Like, it's fine." And then I went to her shop, and I actually was able to purchase book plates for all of my books at home.
Oh.
So it worked out. Like, it was fine. You know what I mean? Like, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm totally cool with that. Um, Super cool thing that happened, or actually two things. Brynne Weaver. I got in her line, got up to her, and I was like so nervous because like she's so pretty and cool.
Okay, first of all, I saw her with Megan Quinn 2 days ago, and me and my bestie were just talking about how Brynne Weaver is like so pretty, but she's like scary pretty. You know what I mean? Like she falls into that
Yes.
like very dark, like just picture like a dark stabby FMC because she also is like very cat eye like, so she just like looks at you and you're just like,
Yeah. Like so, I like got up there. Her husband takes my phone and he's like, "Oh, I'll take a picture." He's
ah, we
fucking
love Mr.
hilarious.
Weaver.
And I was like, I might throw up. And she's like, "Oh, throw up on him." And he was like, "I'm open, baby."
Oh,
And
we
he's
love
handing me
Mr.
like,
Weaver.
yeah, he's like handing me extra character art. I'm super excited. She signs my 3 books, from the trilogy. Yeah, the first one that I loved. Um, that was awesome. Best part of ApollyCon, I think, was the wordsmith scholars. There were people that were other authors that like were like kind of lesser known that were brought in. I'll attach like a description here about what the scholarship is. But I met 2 of them. One was Amber Cordova, or it might be Ambar.
Oh, I met her at Book Harvest last year. Amazing. I love her.
First of all, she is the cutest freaking person in the world. Her little cupcake dresses, 1. 2, her hockey romances and, not hockey, I'm sorry, like regular romance books are really good. She was there, and while she was signing at ApollyCon, midway through her line, she became a ticketed author.
That's
And everyone started cheering and
amazing.
clapping. She uploaded some pictures of it on her Instagram, and I can attach those here too. Just make sure you go check out her Instagram too. I just thought like it was so inspiring to see. And one of the other authors was Ali Shanti. She writes fantasy, and she has a duology that is completed. She was also there. I'm not sure if she was ticketed. Super nice, like very passionate about her book. So it was just cool to see these authors getting this chance and then be like blowing up. You know what I mean? And like they're just so nice and great. And I don't know. I was like really excited. I'm not gonna get emotional about it, but like as someone that wants to be these people, I was like, I want to be like you.
I know, but also I feel like you're a lot more articulate than you think you are because listen, I've been to a lot of author events, but I get like an awkward turtle. Like, especially with like Sadie Kincaid, I was like, but
It's so hard.
it's hard because like, and the other thing too is like, depending on like what line you're in and like who you're meeting, you may only have like 0.3 seconds with them, right? Like it's just very quick. Obviously, like when you go to like the bigger book events and there's no one around, you can talk to them a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I always think like awkward turtle. I'm an awkward turtle.
That was me. Like I'm getting sweaty because it's hot. I can't thermoregulate like at all. Um, and I'm just like trying to be mindful because I'm trying to be quick, but I'm also trying to give notice. And like I actually met like a ton of authors that I was like either writing down their books or I try to buy a few here and there. But I mean, like I have a whole list now of people to check out, which I think is
Yeah.
like one of the coolest things about these conventions. Like if you go in there being like, I only want to see Rebecca Yarros, well, you suck. 1, and 2, like you're literally shortchanging yourself. Like these tickets are a
Yeah.
couple $100s. Like what are you doing? What are you
Yeah,
doing?
I will say like even last year I had like a whole TBR for Book Harvest. So like the authors that I knew that I wanted to read before I went so that I could take my copies or buy a trophy copy or buy a copy from them and get it signed, or if they had special editions, get it signed. But I will say that I left Book Harvest with an even longer TBR than what I like started with initially, because you meet like all these cool authors. You meet people there that are like, "Oh, I'm here to see this person. She writes this," and you're like, "Wait, I had no idea." Um,
Exactly.
and yeah, like so yeah, I agree with you 100%. The TBR is never ending, and after a book event, it becomes infinite.
Oh yeah, and like I think that was really cool for ApollyCon too. Is there was a lot of like women who had kind of bulldozed the industry coming out as like fantasy writers. J.R. Ward was there, and she's a big fantasy writer. You know, you should know her. She was actually one of the first authors ever to publish, after fighting for 3 years, a male and male book. And it blew up across the charts. And it was like a big stepping stone for that to be released. And that was so incredible to hear. Her and Jayla gave so much advice about writing books. And that was really cool for me. One last thing I'll say before I cut off here, we talk about other stuff. I met Holly Renee and Amber Palmer. First of all, I love them. Holly said my freckles were perfect. Even the drawn-on
Oh.
ones that I do sometimes. And they had such fun booths, and their panels that they did were so funny. Holly, like, dropped her energy drink and then an entire stack of books on the table, like, over and over. It was freaking hilarious. That's the other thing. You have to go to these panels and hear these people talk because, like, God, one, they're so funny. You learn so much. And, like, you get the chance to have a conversation with your favorite authors.
Yeah.
Like, what are y'all doing? I got up at, like, 7 a.m. to go to them. It was
You do
hard.
have to get up hella early for the panels at book events. But I will say that like I've obviously never seen J.R. Ward in person, but her like I could listen to her talk forever because I always get the TikToks of her talking at panels. And I just sit there and I'm like, you are like, I love it when women, like, when J.R. Ward comes across my feed, I'm like, yes,
And
girl,
she
tell me
runs
more.
in, like,
Yes. And she's
5'6"
like,
in
and
heels.
you don't need to worry about what the fuck they say about you. And I'm like, tell them, Boo Boo Kitty.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what we need to talk about, but I just want to avoid it. One last thing is that before we talk about some of the more negative sides of conventions, I really want to highlight that my overall experience, I know yours was too, was 99% positive. One. Two, the people I did meet and interact with were so sweet, amazing. I made so many friends. Everyone was there to help each other. I traded with so many people. Like, I literally felt like a little hooker with my, like, little trade bags and walked around. I was like, um, it was great. But you need to be prepared. There are a few bad apples, and I really want to discuss some of the things that I saw that I would like to see change at book conventions. I don't know if you feel that
Oh.
way, but, like, have you noticed anything you would like to?
I'm curious what you've seen. I mean, I will say again, like I agree with you. My experience at Book Harvest was 90%, maybe 99. The attitude that you take into it is everything. If you go in expecting everything to go flawlessly, everything to like you to just have a, you know what I mean? Like if you're not open to change or to go with a flow type of thing, um, it's not going to be a great experience. But I don't know. I was just grateful to be there and they like to actually be able to like go there, get my book signed, get all these books that I, you know. But I'm curious, what did you see that you were just like, hmm.
Well, the first thing was the tickets. Like, and I totally
The
get
price or the amount?
the thing with the wristbands.
Oh, okay.
People were like calling out like, oh, I'm gonna do credit card refunds or chargebacks and all this stuff, and I totally get, like, I think you can be disappointed if you don't get to see your favorite author, especially with, you know, ticket prices in this economy. But it just got to the point where it was all they were focusing on, and even when things were corrected, they were just mad. That was one thing. The other thing is boundaries. Holy shit. I went to the panel that had, first of all, a huge spread of romantic authors. but Rebecca Yarros was on it. And oh god, this makes me like so like it was really uncomfortable. First of all, I'm sitting in the front row. I'm
Mm-hmm.
directly across from Rebecca Yarros. I'm excited. I take a picture of her nameplate. I send it to my husband. I was like, I'm so excited. Put my phone away. That's it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit there and like film them and take pictures. I kid you not, at least I think it was 12 or 13 people got up, walked up there before the panel started, and filmed the authors. Like in their face. The first person asked for
Oh.
permission, yeah. Second person didn't, and then no one did. And it was over and over. And I was
I
like,
thought you were. I thought they were filming like the nameplates, like you said. What
no.
the
They were like, can
hell?
you wave at the thing? And I was like, it would have been cute for one video for like the ApollyCon crew to do, like as like a, hey, like
Yeah,
these are our
yeah.
panelists. No, everyone was doing it. Then people were coming up and taking pictures.
Then they didn't
And
stop it, or did they eventually have to be like, all right, everybody sit down?
oh yeah, well they did say eventually like everyone sit down, but people were continuously filming. And if I hadn't been in the front row, a phone would have been blocking my view, which was pretty fucking annoying to some people. And pause on that because I'll bring that up later. Then, then at the end of the panel, they had to cut it because it was running over.
Mm-hmm.
There was a microphone in the middle of the chairs that people were lining up to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
And Rebecca Yarros felt bad and said, oh no, come here. Like, I'll answer your question to the one person standing there still.
Uh-huh.
A mob of people ran to the table and surrounded it to where no one could leave the table. I, me as a person, I would have had a panic attack. And like you could see people standing over taking pictures. No one had any regard for personal space, safety, anything. And I was pretty disgusted about it. And from what I understand is someone alerted the volunteers before I could to go over there and like save the panelists because it was becoming like a huge issue. And I was like, you guys need to get like a fucking grip. And
That
one girl
that
was sneakily recording Rebecca while asking spoiler questions. So you can see in the video Rebecca's looking at the girl and then the camera's pointed down here. And you can actually see Rebecca get startled when the girl first approaches because she got in her face. And I was like, what is wrong with you people? I'm sitting there, like, I'm not saying I'm the biggest fan in the world. I am. If I can act right, you can act right. Because, like, you know, and I even made a post. I was like, hey, my words with the authors are for mine alone. Or for me alone. Like, why am I
yeah.
filming that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people were constantly, like, having to have boundaries discussed or PAs to step in because they're going up to tables and they're like, pretend this is my phone. Like, stop. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
All of that seems absolutely disgusting to me. However, I will say that that sort of almost seems like a security issue. Because at Book Harvest, a lot of the authors are walking like the ticketed authors, and obviously this might have been like the author's choice or the author's preference. They're walking around with security guards. So
Yeah,
they could not get mobbed, they could not get swarmed. And also like to me that's like baffling the fact that like these people could even like take videos of the authors before like the panel would even start because I who was moderating that wouldn't be like sit down.
oh, it. I can't remember her name now, but she's awesome. She's purple haired. She's a big, dark fantasy and dark romance author. But I think she did eventually tell people to like go sit down. I think she got up when Rebecca told the person to come over for the question, and she was already out the door because she had to go to another panel.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that Rebecca unfortunately was being nice, and people took it, and that was I was furious about that.
That's no, I mean, I don't know. People, I don't have any words to describe like because I'm sitting here rolling my eyes like we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, and then
This is why so many authors are like, never mind, not doing
deuces.
it again. See ya. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
and as they should. And
mm-hmm.
then at the brunch, people were putting their tripods on the tables, and my view was completely blocked of the brunch to view Rebecca Yarros and Jayla. Like, I was like, guys, like, we've got to like get a grip. And then of course there's people buying stuff at ApollyCon, listing it in the same hour for like,
Oh, don't even get me started. I think I sent you like the shit that like that I saw. Um, unfortunately, because yes, I think someone picked up a Gemlin uh the book, that spicy book or whatever, and it was already on Pango and Mercari or one of the fucking buy sell whatever within like the hour, and people were trying to report it to get it taken down. Um, which you know what, rightfully so, because they were selling it for like double, triple the cost. Which, if you listen to our special editions episode, you guys already know how we feel about all of this. So,
oh my god, yeah. I actually bought 2 of those books, and um obviously I don't need 2, but I picked up an extra one because a girl had messaged me saying that she would trade me for the Mystic edition of The Edge of Darkness. And if you don't know, that book resells for like $500, and the From Blood and Ash by Gemlin resells for $500. But they're both sold for $70. And I was like,
yeah,
that's fair. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I'm not going to charge you. And that's like one of my big rules is I will.
Should I go get my dog? I feel left out.
She's going to climb on my shoulder. She knows I'm stressed out because I'm getting heated over here. Um, can you please stop? This is our girl's girl. So yeah, those are like the annoying things that I noticed, and I would like to see changed at conventions. And then there was something that I was called out on. Not called
You
out on,
were
but
called out on?
no. So Rachel actually kind of brought this to my attention because she was posting on Threads. Rebecca Yarros' best friend. She was posting that these authors are also exhausted sometimes because people will come up and then emotionally dump on them.
Ooh.
And I was like, holy shit. Because I was so excited to get there and tell her, like, all these traumatic things that I had made it through. And then I was like, hold on, like, that is emotionally taxing. And it's like, duh. But, like, I wasn't even thinking like that.
Yeah.
And so I made it a special note, like, every offer I went to, I'd be like, hey, you got me through some really, like, crazy stuff. And I really appreciate your writing for you to, you know. But I didn't go into specifics. I didn't, like, treat them like an emotional punching bag, and I'm really grateful that like I was educated on that beforehand.
Yeah.
Because now that I know about it,
It's just such a hard line to tread because I feel like when you meet someone who, I mean, and you, I don't know if idolize is the right word, but like her books and her writing and everything means so much to you. And I mean, it's hard, right? Because if you were just one person that she was meeting when you bumped into each other for coffee or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, you're Rebecca Yarros. I just need to tell you, you know, it's one person, but she's doing this for like 5, 6 hours on end. I understand how it can get emotionally taxing. And yeah, I mean, you're right. But I don't necessarily think that you trauma dumped on her. I think you more like just let her know how much her books meant to you when you were going through something. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's I like because I had it brought to my attention.
You're
I was
like, let
more
me
mindful about it.
reframe how I present this to authors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I were to change certain things, here's like a list, and I'm gonna put it here too for you people. Number 1, respect boundaries and be more mindful, especially of like a crowd mindset. Don't rush people. Don't film without their consent. And like, you're either there to meet authors or you're there to film content to blow up. And I stand by what I say on that. Like, if you really want to meet the author and you really care about it, you don't need to film the interaction from like 0 to 5 minutes later. You know what I mean? Like, that's just silly. Private words, whatever. And I'll insert my Threads post I made about it. Number 2, you need to ask authors what they're okay with. I asked every single author if they're okay if I took a picture with them
Hmm.
and then if I could wrap my arm around them, like if that's how we were like standing. It takes less than a second. Just ask it. Some people aren't okay with it, and you shouldn't force it on people that are there for their job.
Yeah.
Um, Number 3, don't resell stuff and be a dick.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Times a
And then,
million.
yeah, 4, better attitudes, but it's okay to vent sometimes. And then number 5, like, I don't even know what I was going to say for number 5. There was probably be mindful of what you're saying to authors too. Like, realize that is emotionally taxing, and if the author isn't looking at you smiling wide and you know what I mean, it's okay. Like, it doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means they're tired. Like Tracy Dion from
I saw that whole debacle on Threads and like, yeah, no. And all, you know what? I'm not gonna tell you what I really think because I think if she looked different than what she did, no one would be having this conversation. But anyway,
no, that's it, because you know, I'm gonna say it. It's easy for people to portray black women as angry. That's what it is. And I'm fucking sick of it. And the way those people acted in the video afterwards, those two girls were like flicking off the camera. It pissed me off, and it really
no,
set the tone in
if
ApollyCon.
if she was white, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's all I'll say about that. It fucking pissed me off, and I hate it so much. And again, this is why authors like choose to step away from doing public events like this. And like you said, rightfully fucking so, because we don't know how to fucking act. I say we because I'm including in that shit too. Like, ugh.
You
But
know how to
anyway,
act. I just love how you're like, that's all I'm gonna say. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna say it.
no, it's like, do you ever watch What We Do in the Shadows? Nadia
No, I haven't.
and Laszlo, where she's like, I'm not gonna say, and he's like, I don't give a fuck. His name was Mike.
That's how like our friendship's been. Like, I remember you messaged me at one point and you're like, I just love how you speak your mind, and I was like, most people don't, unfortunately. It gets me into a lot of trouble. Like,
But anyway, well, I feel like I'm glad that overall you had a positive experience. I think that with a huge event like that, you're bound to run into things that you see that are icky. A lot of people, most people will behave, but there's always one or a few bad apples that ruin it for the lot, which is unfortunate.
yeah.
Um, but I honestly, and like, this is how I feel whenever I go to book events with my bestie. You guys know, whenever I go to a book event, 90% of the time is going to be with my wifey Myra, and we are always like, we cannot believe that we get to do this. Like, this shit is so
Yes.
cool, and we're literally like, we're so lucky. And when we were at Book Harvest, we were like, God is good. God is good, because like, just the positivity that we kept like throughout the event, it just kept coming. You know what I mean? Like, it just, it'll all be okay. Like, nothing is the end of the world for this book event. Like, just remember that we are privileged to be able to go to an event like this, because it costs a lot of money, it costs a lot of time, like, it's a lot of effort on everyone's part. And like, if you're lucky enough to go to that, you should be grateful that like you're even there. You know what I
And
mean?
there's no actor conventions. Have you ever noticed that? Like, there's no
Well,
other, like, nothing else does this.
there's like has been actor conventions.
Who fucking cares? Yeah. Okay, no, I feel mean now. Don't say that. um, Literally, it was the coolest experience ever. My husband even said, I love seeing you so happy. Like, this is your
Yes,
element.
yes.
So,
Chris does that to me all the time. Whenever I show him pictures or videos or whatever, he's like, I just love seeing you so happy at these things. Like, you always just look so happy. I love it. And I'm like, thank you. But yeah, I mean, we're lucky enough to be able to attend these events. We should be grateful that we can do it while we still can. Because if we keep being ungrateful, a lot of these authors will choose not to do it, and then we won't have any fucking book events to go to. So
or books, because that's gonna happen too.
yeah, but anyway, moving on.
Gosh, man, we literally yapped for a full hour almost, because I love this. I love the book community so much, and I just think I'm so glad I got back into reading, and then like I met you, and then I like we're all in this thing together, and it's just been so cool. And that's why like I'm really glad we're doing the podcast, because it's just like this other like little piece to add. And I know there's a million podcasts, but
Yeah,
I just love that, like, hey, we're just gonna sit here and yap about books, and like organically we're at like 50 minutes, and it's like, cause you and I came in here, we're like,
we could go on forever, girl.
we don't
You
have a
know us.
script, we're winging it.
Certified yappers. No, I agree with you. I feel like book events and author events are probably like my most favorite part of the book community. And as someone who has gone to a few, I'm lucky enough to say that I've actually knocked out a lot of like bucket list authors who I never thought I would meet. Sadie Kincaid was like up at the top ever since I started my reading journey back in like 2022 when I picked up one of her books, and like my life changed forever essentially. Um And I never thought I would meet her because she's an author from the UK. And I'm like, she's an indie author. I don't know if she'll ever come to the US. And she did. And so now I'm like, now I'm like left with like, I'm basically thankful and grateful enough to be like, I only have a few people or a few authors on my bucket list right now that I'm like, if I got to meet them, I would probably melt on the floor and die. And I'm lucky enough to also say that I actually purchased a ticket to see another one. So I will be seeing Brittany Nicole in July. She's just coming to Chicago to moderate for another author, and I am gonna go see her. And she's also an author that I picked up back in like 2022 when I started my reading journey again and fell in love with her books. And like, if you read Brittany Nicole, or if you know Brittany Nicole, maybe you know of like her hockey series, or maybe you're really excited for Paper Rings because I know everyone loves that, or Daffodil Farms. But I'm like OG Brittany Nicole fan. Like, my favorite books from her are the Boston Billionaires books, like with Cash and Grace and with Kat and Jay. Like, those characters walked so that the characters that she has right now can run. Because if you love her books, you know what I'm talking about. Um, so yeah, I actually hit purchase on a ticket for going to go see her, and there's a possibility that I may go see Ariel and Anderson.
That's actually really exciting.
So I gotta like remember what you said about trauma dumping on her because, but I mean, also that book that she wrote was fucking traumatic. Okay.
Bring her a box of pancake mix and ask her to sign it, please.
Oh my god, that's fucking genius. I might have to do that. I might have to do that.
Um,
But yeah, so are there any
I
other book events that you're going to or that you're looking forward to going to?
Dude, I have so many. Like, I have a lot, okay? And I don't want to list all of them because I put off for work that I had maintenance emergencies in my apartment that were being taken care of. So
I don't
I'm
know.
not
I
listing
didn't
them.
see nothing.
That's it. But I did want to, because I know like we're at time and we're about to end the whole pod, but I did want to say if you are interested in going to more like book events and conventions or whatever, the best way to do it is to follow the publishers and the authors on any social media. They'll always announce it. And then I actually follow the Autumn Book Reads. She posts a lot of conventions that are coming up and like when the tickets go on sale on her big calendar. And a new app came out that has a huge calendar that authors add to. And I cannot remember the name right now because I had a long day of work, but I will link it and I will put a picture of it here so you guys can go check it out.
Nice.
So,
Yes.
you're
If
welcome.
you live in the Chicago area or the northwest suburbs of Illinois and are willing to travel to Chicago, the Last Chapter Bookshop puts on a lot of book events, and that's how I find out about a lot of mine. Because they are amazing and they bring in all these fancy and fun authors. But also, like you said, follow your favorite authors on Instagram. They're always going to post their tour schedule. And then also check in with your local bookstores because sometimes they'll have author
Yes.
events and you will have no idea. So, like a lot of the local bookstores that I go to and I love, they put on author events. But again, I'm also lucky enough to live in Chicago where there's a bunch and they always bring in authors and they're always coming here. And Chicago is kind of like a prominent stop when it comes to book tours, except for Sadie Kincaid. But anyway,
Play. No, I,
but anyway, but yeah, so yeah, I mean, basically, you gotta turn into your favorite dark romance MMC and like stalk the Instagram, if you know what I'm saying.
yeah. All right, y'all. So we've yapped your heads off. So let us know in the comments what you thought of this episode. Let us know if you're going to conventions, if you've been to conventions, your positive takes, your negative takes. I want to hear about all of it. And also let me know if you met me at ApollyCon
Oh
and
yes, if you're here from Lexi's Trades, hello, hi, I'm Jazzy. I'm the other co-host.
the other one.
I'm the other one.
Um, yeah, let us know in the comments and I think that's it. I've literally yapped to my heart's content tonight and I'm gonna go to bed.
Oh boy.
All right, y'all. Well, until next time, thanks for joining our FaceTime. I'm Lexi.
And I'm Jazzy.
Bye.
Bye.